And today, I am not here to impress you. I am here to tell you what it feels like when life clears your whole table and leaves you with nothing but your own thoughts. I can already hear the comments. How could you mess up like that? Why didn't you think ahead? Why didn't you play it safe? Well, because I was young. Young in years and even younger in judgment. I was in my early 30s, full of confidence I had not earned yet. The kind of confidence that makes a man believe a small win means he's unstoppable. I had this idea in my head. If something works a little, then more of it must work even better. That simple thought ended up costing me everything. I finished college in the mid-70s with a degree in finance and business. I thought the world was waiting for me, but the world was not interested. No job in my field, not one. So I took a summer job at a local General Motors plant. Just temporary work, I told myself, just until something better came along. Temporary turned into 10 years. I moved into the skilled trades, got comfortable, built routines, collected steady paychecks. Life was not fancy, but it was stable. And when you're young, stable can feel like success. During those years, my wife and I bought our first house. Calling it a house was being generous. It was an old, tired place that smelled like smoke and old carpet. The previous owners used the floor vents as ashtrays. My wife nearly gagged when she saw that. But we cleaned it, scrubbed it down, fixed what we could, put some pride back into those walls. About a year later, we sold it and made a small profit. Nothing huge, just enough to feel smart. So we bought another place, fixed that one too, lived there a couple of years, sold it, another profit. And that's when the dangerous thought showed up. If this works with 3 houses, why would it not work with 30? At the time, that sounded like ambition. It sounded like a smart plan. But looking back, it was just ego in a nice suit. So I went all in, bought more properties, fixed them, rented them out. Soon I had 20, maybe 30 houses. I don't remember the exact number anymore, but I know the total value was around $1 million, maybe more. And back then, that was serious money. On paper, I looked successful. Cash flow was decent. We weren't living wild or fancy, but the numbers worked. I even hired a property manager. A whole family moved into one of the houses and handled the day-to-day problems. For a while, it felt like I had figured life out. And then, almost overnight, everything changed. Within a few months, a wave of tenants moved out. 15 houses sitting empty at the same time. Empty houses don't just sit quietly. They break. They rot, they need repairs, and repairs need money. I didn't have the money. I was still working full-time at the plant, couldn't keep up with the repairs, couldn't fill the vacancies fast enough. It felt like trying to empty a sinking boat with a coffee mug. The whole thing collapsed. Not slowly, not gently, just gone. We lost the rentals. We lost the house we had built. That one hurt the most. I designed that house myself. It was a passive solar home, years ahead of its time. I was proud of that place. We moved back into one of the old rentals. The only reason we kept it was because it had no equity, nothing for the bank to take. And the stress didn't stay in my head. It moved into my body. I got shingles. If you've never had them, be grateful.
It feels like your nerves are on fire under your skin. The pain lasted for months. One day the doctor looked at me and said, "Larry, if you keep living like this, stress is going to kill you." I went home and sat down with my wife. No drama, no speeches, just two tired people at a kitchen table. I told her, we have to walk away. And we did. We walked away from the rentals, from the house, from the cars, from everything. One day the bank called about the car payment. They said they would come take it. I told them, just knock on the door, I'll hand you the keys. And that is exactly what happened. Just like that, I was a man in my 30s with 3 kids under 12, no house, no cars, no savings. And then the final blow came. General Motors shut down the plant. My paycheck disappeared too. No job, no assets, no safety net. Just a man and his family, standing in the dust where life used to be. And that was the lowest point of my life. Not the kind of low you talk about at parties. Not the kind of struggle people post about online. This was the quiet kind of low. The kind where the house is silent at night and your thoughts get louder than you can handle. I remember sitting there, looking at my kids and thinking, I can survive this, but what about them? That thought stayed with me more than the money, more than the houses, more than the embarrassment. Because when a man falls, he usually lands on his pride. But when a father falls, his whole family feels the impact. That season of my life taught me something I never would have learned any other way. Material things, they do not belong to you. You just borrow them for a while. Cars, houses, cameras, furniture, all of it is temporary. You hold it for a season, and then one day it belongs to someone else. My whole view on possessions changed after that. I stopped caring about fancy cars. If a vehicle gets me from one place to another in reasonable comfort, that's enough for me. The house we live in today would probably look upper middle class from the outside, but our income is closer to lower middle class. We live below our means and we sleep better because of it. But the biggest shock was not losing money. It was losing people. I lost a lot of friends during that time. Some of them were just relieved it did not happen to them. And the others, well, they didn't really care at all. As long as their lives were comfortable, my downfall was just another story to watch from a distance. My view of family changed too. I come from a big family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, a full tree of relatives. But when everything collapsed, not one of them offered help. Not a meal, not a small loan, not even a simple question like, "What can we do for you?" Not one. After a few years, I realized something. Some of them were quietly glad it happened. I'd been moving ahead in life, maybe a little too far ahead for their comfort. But on my wife's side, the story was different. She came from a small family, just her parents and one sister. Her mother didn't have much money, but she had a big heart. She stepped in quietly. No speeches, no lectures, Sometimes she'd give us a little grocery money. And for 2 or 3 years, she bought our kids new shoes every time school started. That simple act meant the world to me. And later in life, I paid her back many times over. But I was always in her debt in a deeper way than money can measure. That season changed my understanding of family. I learned that some people are relatives and some people are family, and the two are not always the same. And another thing I learned was humility. Back in those days, bankruptcies were printed in the newspaper. Every Friday, they listed the names and the properties. My name was in there, week after week, page after page. Anyone could pick up the paper and read about my failure. It was humiliating, but it humbled me faster than anything else could ever do. When life strips you down that far, pride does not survive the process. It gets peeled off layer by layer. But out of all that pain, something good finally showed up. I got new priorities. My real family, my wife and my kids, they became everything to me. After the plant shut down, I bounced from job to job. Nothing stable, nothing secure. And then one day, another company was closing their doors. I came home and told my wife, I'm going to paint apartments for a while, just until I find a real job. She said, okay. No drama, no arguments, just quiet trust. I started painting apartments. Simple work, nothing glamorous. And somehow 35 years later, I was still doing it. That one small decision changed everything. Life did not just recover, it moved forward. But I was not the same man anymore. Yes, I lost everything. But in the middle of all that loss, I found myself. And for that, I am deeply grateful. So strange as it sounds, losing everything might have been the best thing that ever happened to me. Anyway, that's all I have for now. If something in this story touched you, feel free to share it in the comments. And if this meant something to you, you can like, share, or subscribe. Until next time, we just keep moving forward, one quiet step at a time.